Before I start this video, just wanted to let you guys know that Key Codes over on Twitter is giving away free Modern Warfare beta codes on the daily, so be sure to drop them a follow over on their Twitter page. Also check out their website since they're charging $1.50 per Modern Warfare beta code, which is a great price. When you also redeem these beta codes, you'll be allowed to play as Captain Price within Blackout. I have all of their links down below in the description. Be sure to check them out and enjoy the rest of the video.
This is Blackout.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the new pandemic mode that was added with the second half of Operation Apocalypse Z, a highly anticipated version of Infected here on the Battle Royale map for Black Ops 4. Essentially turned, but for Battle Royale instead of zombies. Obviously, the assets and mechanics from the original Turned in Black Ops 2 were directly put into and enhanced with Blackout here in this game. And honestly, it's a bit different than what I thought it was going to be. Essentially, it's a regular game of quads where you just jump in with your squad, and every time you kill an enemy, the twist is that when those enemies die, they then become zombies. When they're zombies, they have a chance at coming up to you, swiping you, or throwing their 2 Hell's Retrievers at you. So in every life that you have as a zombie, you'll spawn in close to where you died with 2 Hell's Retrievers, and every time you kill an enemy as a zombie, you're given 2 more Hell's Retrievers. You have no armor, your health is very limited, and it's very easy to get clapped by anyone with operator mod weapons, ray gun Mark IIs, so it's probably a better bet to just play as a human, play it safe, have level 3, have your trauma kits, and just go all out. The MOG seems to be one of the most effective weapons here in the pandemic mode, but the only issue I have with it is the fact that the map is just way too big. This mode seems like it'll be really suitable for Alcatraz just because of the map size and the layout. Seems like a lot easier to get around as a zombie. It feels like the pandemic mode on the main Blackout map is really just suitable for the survivor, somebody with a weapon, somebody with equipment, somebody with armor. When you're playing as a zombie, it could be incredibly boring, running around the map, hopelessly looking for enemies. Obviously, it's cool that some of the enemies are highlighted in orange, similar to the original Turned, and they'll be highlighted occasionally throughout the match of Pandemic, but it almost feels like right when the match gets good, the match just ends within that minute. It's really unfortunate. I'll have some gameplay of exactly what I mean here on screen. So you usually have the most fun with a squad, holding down a house, holding down a specific area of the map with all your equipment and your great weapons, your operator mods. When you're playing as a zombie, it could be almost impossible to kind of counter any of the actual people that are alive as humans, because they'll have barricades, razor wires, trip mines, operator mod weapons. You aren't given all that much as a zombie when you're going up against all the survivors. That's kind of what I'm trying to say there, because you're giving 2 Hell's Retrievers, but the other issue with that is you don't insta-down anybody by throwing a retriever at them, as opposed to regular Blackout or regular Alcatraz where you throw a retriever or a combat axe at somebody and it'll insta-down them. I think it only takes about 50 to 75 HP when you throw a tomahawk at the enemy. Obviously, when you throw 2 at them, it'll down them. So once again, it takes 2 good throws with a Hell's Retriever to down a single enemy. Unless you go up to them, get behind them, swipe them enough times, or if they're already low on health, you can go up for a quick swipe. That's about it. That's about it when you're playing as a zombie. And once again, a majority of your match will be spent just running across this entire map. I usually find myself so far away from the zone, not intentionally, but accidentally, because you have to pay attention to where the fireworks are. When you see fireworks in the sky, that's going to indicate where the final zone will be. So very similar to a mechanic we had in Hardcore Blackout that was also limited time mode a couple of months ago, where since you didn't have a map, you had to pay attention to where the fireworks were. The fireworks will kind of indicate where you needed to go in terms of the final collapse. So you have to pay attention to that when you're a zombie. So there are a few good ways you can get some kills as zombies, but for the most part, the most highlights you'll see from me and most of the people out there who are playing Pandemic is from the perspective of a survivor with good weapons, with a good setup, with good teammates. That's when it's actually a fun mode. But again, when you're as a zombie, it's just too slow of a match. And again, as I've experienced and as I'll show on screen, there's times when the matches can get really good when you're playing as a zombie. It gets really exciting, feels like you're playing Turn again, and then you only have a minute left before the match ends. So it seems like the action really really picks up towards the end of the game, which is not a good thing. The action should be pretty persistent throughout the entire match that you play, which just means one thing: the map is too big. So again, the mode itself feels more suitable for a unique map overall, or just the Alcatraz map, a map that's slightly smaller and is a little more suitable for both zombies and survivors. Again, the mode just favors survivors a little bit too much. The zombies are a bit of a disadvantage, and it's kind of hell when you're trying to run around from firing range to asylum to turbine all the way back to lighthouse. It's just not that fun. There's also no vehicles in the mode. So that could be a big pain when you're actually playing as a survivor and you got to move pretty far for the final zone. That also sucks. Another thing I noticed is when you're a zombie and you were to die for some reason, when you respawn, there is a chance that it may glitch out and it won't spawn you close to your body. It'll actually spawn you out of the collapse, which is just a joke. So you'll already be at a disadvantage having to run miles and miles to get where you need to go. And then on top of that, it'll respawn you somewhere that's super far away from the zone, actually out of zone. So you'll be taking damage as a zombie while you're out of the collapse. It almost feels like you shouldn't take damage as a zombie when you're playing this mode. It should just be like a normal game of Blackout, where if you're a survivor and you're in the zone, you'll take damage. But for the zombies, they're already quote-unquote undead, so you shouldn't be taking any damage from the collapse. Obviously, there's nothing much you can do when you're just in the zone by yourself as a zombie, so I see no reason why that wouldn't work. But that is about it for the new pandemic mode. I have plenty of gameplay here on screen, most of it being from the perspective of a survivor. Had a lot of fun playing with friends, though. It's a pretty cool idea, executed in a bit of a different way than I expected. Everybody out there who saw the trailer, read the leaks, all expected like an infected mode on this big map, which kind of works similarly, but a little bit different from just a regular game of quads with a zombies aesthetic to it. But again, if more people were working on Black Ops 4, if there was more manpower on this game still and not all the manpower going to the 2020 reboot, I would have saw this mode being a little bit more detailed, having a bit more of a spice, some more replayability than it does right now. It almost suffers a similar issue to what the original turn suffered from in Black Ops 2, which is like a lack of substance when you're playing as a zombie. So in the Black Ops 2 version of Turn, when you're playing as a survivor, you're playing reverse gun game. It's fun. But then you get to the M1911 pistol and you're just dead. And there's nothing you could do about that unless you have an insta-kill. So, there was more substance needed to make that mode more replayable. And when you played as a zombie in the original Turn, there's also nothing you could do except run around, zigzag, and swipe with your hands. There's nothing else you could really do. But there's also a cool inspect animation with your hands when you're playing as a zombie. That's a cool little detail I noticed. And once again, that is about it for the pandemic mode here in Black Ops 4. On top of that, we also have the new tactical bike, which made its debut in the regular versions of Blackout, solos, duos, and quads. Not available in LTM, so it's obviously not going to be in Pandemic, and it's definitely not in Alcatraz. So if you're playing duos or quads, it's a pretty fun vehicle to actually find. Obviously, you have that sidecar for an optional partner. Probably best for duos in my opinion, and it's honestly very fast. Probably a little bit faster than the regular ATV, but the only issue with it is that it has very low health. The vehicle itself will blow up very fast if anybody just shoots it with maybe an entire clip of a decent weapon. So the health sucks on it, and it's honestly a rare vehicle to find. I've only seen it maybe near the farm, maybe once near the lighthouse. That is about it. So it sucks that they added a new vehicle that probably takes a little bit of dev time to actually polish, and it's just rare as hell. You barely ever see it. But I do remember they have that boat that they probably added in maybe after Spectre Rising dropped that actually has a turret on it. It's probably one of the most useless vehicles that you can actually operate in Blackout, but you can still find that around. I'm glad they didn't just scrap that idea entirely. It's pretty cool on paper, but isn't executed very well in game. So you have a turret on a boat, you have a new motorcycle with a sidecar. It's a pretty cool addition to Blackout, but again, not something you usually use at all when you're in an intense situation with your team. But we also had that horrific chopper gunner they added in with the Days of Summer event. I'll put a clip of that on screen. It is absolutely terrible, and I haven't seen it ever since, so I think they got rid of it, to be honest. But it basically had a VKM mounted on the chopper itself. It was god-awful, extremely useless, and you'd probably never use that. Probably 1% of the community has probably tried that thing out. It's so useless, but that is about it for all the new things they added into Blackout. This has been DK Dynamite. Let me know what you think of all these zombies-inspired Easter eggs down below in the comment section. Also, drop all your feedback on the new Pandemic Turn mode, as well as the new motorcycle they added in within Blackout. But that is about it. Hope you've enjoyed. Be on the lookout for more Operation Apocalypse Z coverage, and peace out, everyone.